everyone, and welcome back to Two Bros Game Night. I am your host, Older Bro.
I'm your other host, Younger Bro.
And today we continue in National Park Girls, where I believe somebody was about to express the fact that they've learned a valuable lesson.
Yeah, and that lesson was never be recorded by Two Bros Game Night.
That is not the lesson here, I promise. Zion balances her bowl of oatmeal on her knee, a generous portion of raisins decorating its surface. She tries unsuccessfully to feed one to Pup.
That's not coyote food either, is it?
No.
No. Yellowstone glances over from the hot stove where she's cooking. Zion looks up, a raisin still stuck to her finger.
Coyote food? Yup. Weren't you saying the other day that he shouldn't have any people food?
Yeah.
Zion frowns for a second and smiles wide.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Then why are you still doing it?
I shouldn't have teased you with this.
The raisin on her finger rejoins the rest of its kind. Pup seems wholly indifferent. He's finished his meal and is pushing his bowl around the floor as he tries to slurp up every last morsel. Yellowstone smiles to herself as she stirs the eggs and flips the pancakes. I'm not sure that anyone else sees. As she cooks, she occasionally darts away from the stovetop to place an errant book bag on the shelf. An errant book back on the shelf.
Yeah.
Or to wipe down the stains left behind by my coffee mug. She rinses out the percolator and deposits it in the sink. And with the same motion, she deftly slides a perfect round pancake onto the plate.
We like pancakes.
She repeats the process several more times. Meanwhile, I'm getting dizzy. Before carrying two steaming plates to the table.
Bon appetit!
It's the thought that counts. She slides one of the plates in front of me. It's laden with fluffy scrambled eggs and equally fluffy pancakes.
This looks great. Like always.
Yellowstone beams in response, and swoops over to the other side of the table, proudly delivering Yosemite's breakfast at a safe distance from the open book. Yosemite slides that away as she picks up her fork.
Thanks.
Yellowstone's hand freezes, just inches above the table. I also set down the bite of food I was about to take, staring at Yosemite.
What?
You know what.
She hurriedly chews and swallows her first bite of food, looking from me to Yellowstone and back again. Two big tears swim in Yellowstone's eyes, tears of joy.
Don't mention it.
No.
Oh.
Demand she mention
No,
it.
demand more.
I can't believe my ears. She knows how to say the T word after all.
Yosemite glares at me, but it's not as sharp as usual. After all, she knows she can't deny it in this case. So she just rolls her eyes, sheathing the daggers, and goes back to her breakfast. And with a bounce in her step,
good.
Yellowstone goes back to her own meal. The pancakes are as perfect and delicious as before.
Now let's see if she knows the P word.
Unlikely, given this is a girl-on-girl story. Anyways,
That's
I devour them with gusto, a lot like Pup with his meal. Some of the syrup from the cakes is spilled over onto the eggs,
You always have to say please.
giving
and
those a
thank you.
tinge of sweetness. I scarf them down. We spend our whole meal in comfortable silence,
So that's where your scarf went. Down her belly.
save for the occasional whine from Pup and the giggles from Zion as she plays. Once we're finished, I collect my plate and Yosemite's and carry them to the sink. Like a homing missile, Yellowstone intercepts me, whisking the plates out of my hand before I can protest.
Oops, I can handle those. Just gotta shake a tail feather here.
Half a pancake and most of Yellowstone's
You watch
scrambled eggs
too
remain on her
much
plate.
New York TV.
It's okay. You can finish eating. I can take care of these.
I reach for mine and Yellowstone's plates, but Yellowstone holds them out of reach. There's already a precarious stack of dirty dishes in the sink, and I don't know how she plans to add these to the pile without making a mess.
It's no sweat. No siree.
I'm a woman.
Despite the visible beads of sweat from her face, Yellowstone keeps up the charade.
Hey, seriously, just let...
No, it's the one thing I like to do.
Yeah, Yellowstone starts to lose her balance, and the syrupy fork slides from her plate and clatters to the ground below. Pup flinches in surprise, growling at the insolent piece of silverware that's dared enter his domain.
Oops. Sorry about that. Here you go. It's even dirtier now, though.
Yeah, even it's got a lot of cobwebs and a spider on it.
Dust and dirt cling to the maple syrup, clogging the tines of the fork. Yellowstone grimaces as she tosses it into the sink, aware of the extra scrubbing it'll need. I settle back down in my seat, recognizing Yellowstone will not let me win here.
I mean it. I don't mind helping out.
Let me help.
But Yellowstone just waves away my offer, despite the fact that she's using one hand to balance our dishes, and the other hand to try to cut her pancakes so she can eat. Look, baby steps. You got somebody to say thank you. Next is letting her accept help.
It's okay.
It is not
No,
okay.
it's not.
This is where it should say it is not okay. With a deep sigh, Yosemite places a bookmark in her journal and stands up. Everyone turns to look at her, expecting some tirade about how she can't focus with all the noise. But instead, she faces Yellowstone and smiles.
How about I help out instead?
There you go.
Several dishes shatter.
Several dishes shatter.
Yellowstone's face cycles through a variety of emotions faster than I can process. To her credit, she doesn't start crying again.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. Now hurry up before I change my mind.
There it
Okay.
is.
Educate yourself. Then I set Teddy aside. Outside, a loud banging sound begins to disturb the quiet park air. There's the distinctive sound of a door being thrown open, and familiar voices can be heard.
Yesterday's idiot.
Yesterday's idiot.
Yeah,
The bickering couple from yesterday with their clunky tin can. I reach for my hat and put it on, adjusting my uniform just a little bit so my badge is visible.
Are you gonna go give them what for?
Oh, yeah.
No, not this time.
What?
I'm going to give them directions.
I'm going to give him directions.
I
There
head,
you go.
I head over to the front door, my hand on the knob. From the sink, Yosemite glances at me over her shoulder and throws me a nod.
I'm gonna go help out.
And
A
I don't know what
happy
that
trip.
I don't know what that quick like 2 other scenes in the middle there
Howdy,
were.
yo, campers!
Yep.
And welcome back
Wow,
to
they
another
let us
edition of
skip the
mine and
credits.
Zion's
Okay.
Fireside Chat.
I mean, the game's not done, so why have credits?
Fair.
Hello. It's very nice to be here.
Again.
There's a whole lot of ruckus about the Yellowstone supervolcano in today's episode. We're pretty sure most of you got the gist of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're a tiny bit afraid it might have gone over some of your heads.
So we're gonna give you a
I know it
lot.
would have whizzed over mine if it weren't for the fact that it is my head. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Some basic information about the Yellowstone supervolcano.
Yeah,
Yosemite
it's not
says learning
dormant.
is super important.
Yeah.
So I hope you can take this knowledge with you wherever you go in the world.
Yeah, I already know.
Because
a
you
lot
just
about
gotta
it.
know a thing or two about gastrology if you like national parks.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
I think you meant to say geology.
Yeah, thank
No.
you, Zion.
No, she doesn't. Has to deal with gas.
But it's both.
Geology. Great. Now just say that word over and over until you can't forget it.
I already forgot it.
Geology.
She proceeds to do
So
it.
while she's doing that, I should probably start off by explaining that the supervolcano is what we call a caldera. A caldera is a big hollow space that's made after a lot of magma is shot out during an eruption.
Yep.
If enough magma is shot out, the ground above it loses support and the whole thing goes tumbling into the magma chamber.
Yep.
That's geology for ya. Can't understand a lick of it. Well, I'm glad you remembered how to say it at least. Wowzers, give me some credit here. There's a whole lot of stuff I
Wowzers.
can remember.
Yeah.
She must really love Inspector Gadget.
I'm pretty sure people really did say that.
Wait, that was a legitimate saying?
I don't think they made that up for that show. Pretty
What?
sure people used to say that.
Really?
Really? I'd like to hear what you know. Okie dokie, artichoke. Hang tight, because
Yeah,
I'm
just
about
like
to
that
drop
one.
some super hot
That was
volcano
also a phrase
facts on
people
ya.
used.
That one I knew was.
It's just weird.
First off, the volcano has only ever had a gigantic eruption 3 times. And they all happened between 2.1 million years ago and 640,000
Wait,
years
this
ago.
has happened before. That I didn't know.
Yeah, the volcano's erupted before.
Well,
Does that mean
yes,
when you
but
almost
not.
flipped your lid, that was the first time it
I
had
thought
been
there was
active
only
in a
one
super
super
duper long
volcano and that
time?
went off, and that's what caused one of our ice ages. I didn't know there was 3. That's the part I didn't know.
Yeah.
I knew about 1.
Nuh-uh. Just because it hasn't gone kaboom in a minute doesn't mean it's not active.
There you go.
What?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of good old-fashioned volcano junk happening underground. In fact, the cause of... One sec, gotta look at my hand.
Yeah.
Geothermal! In fact, it's because of all the geothermal vents that we have a whole slew of geysers across the park, including my gal Old Faithful. Ain't that just groovy?
Your head is Old Faithful.
That is pretty dope AF.
Please
No,
don't ever
Zion, Zion.
Yeah,
Thank
no.
you, Eve. Thank you.
Again, do not say AF, please.
But what if it goes kaboom for real? It's a little scary to think about.
Yes.
No need to freak. As long as I don't flip my lid again, it should be all good in the neighborhood.
No, Yellowstone,
Okay.
you're not the problem.
Yeah, it can still explode just like,
Oh,
that's not how
that's
that
a relief.
works.
thank goodness.
But
Uh-oh.
a lot of tiny earthquakes do happen in Yellowstone, somewhere in the ballpark of 2,500 every year.
Yup.
Oh,
Oh.
shit. Yeah, and
That's more than I would have
that's sort of what
expected.
happened when we left Yellowstone, right?
No,
Worse?
there weren't earthquakes.
Then what exactly happened?
It got very, very, very unseasonably hot, and all the snow melted off every mountain and flooded the place.
Oh, it flooded. I know.
Relax! It's just nature doing its thing.
It's doing too much of its thing.
It
I
doesn't
can't
sound
believe you
so
didn't
bad
spell
when
it
you say
wrong.
it like that.
With like 2 A's.
Night.
It's totally gonna blow one day, though.
Yeah.
Please don't say something so terrifying so casually.
But it.
Not today, cutie. Or tomorrow. Or even in the next couple centuries.
I mean, you can't prove that.
But it will. One day. And when it does, a big old plume of ash is gonna pelt down on Wyoming and all the other surrounding states. Plant life and livestock will be suffocated by it and kick the bucket. Maybe even regular folks, too.
You're going to kill
Buildings
this
and
girl.
equipment are probably gonna get squashed by all the rock. Entire communities might be wiped off the map.
More like
Worst
the
case
planet.
scenario, the delays in agriculture and production could lead to a global economic freefall. Whee! Ah, looks like we're all out of time.
Yeah. Zion.
She's just like, I think I need to go lay down.
The map?
Poor Zion.
Poor Zion.
But yeah, there's been debate on how to deal with it. Like, people thought, okay, let's drill down there and just use water to cool it off
Yeah,
or
I know how
something.
that's gonna work.
But
You can't really vent a volcano.
someone likes their Cherokee music. But
Yeah. But yeah, you can't really vent a volcano. It's just gonna erupt when it wants to erupt.
yeah, I don't. I think I don't know if we've had a breakthrough in dealing with volcanoes yet. I don't think that exists yet.
Remember. Try to remember. Remember what she taught you. Her stories. Who she was. Who she still is.
Yosemite! Wherever are you hiding?
Oh god, what's about to happen here?
She
That
sounds
voice.
older.
Dear me. If she doesn't appear soon, I won't be able to tell her a story. Our picnic will be ruined. Whatever shall I do?
Still sounds so warm. As angelic as I remember. Remember. At least I can still do that much. Not all of us are so lucky.
I'm right here. I want to hear this story.
What the fuck is going on?
Non-linear thinking. Did I seriously fall for that? Such a simple trick. Yet I can't help but wish to return to the days where I would fall for it.
Oh, I'm not so sure now. It's getting rather late. Perhaps we should return to the cabin.
Preposterous.
It's preposterous, dear.
Preposterous.
There was a quick rustle. My head popped up from the bush. Or was it behind a tree? Definitely some type of flora.
Please, Zion. I want to hear the story about this again. Tell me the story.
What?
What story was it? I'm not sure if I can recall. Something simple, right? A fable, I'm positive. The scripter is at the tip of my tongue. I just know it. Why does the memory feel fuzzy when I think of it? Why does the word crackle out like radio static?
Goodness. I suppose I have no choice then.
You
No,
gotta use
you
your
certainly
wit powers?
do not.
You seriously not gonna allow us to see young Yellowstone?
Come on.
Don't be an asshole, game.
You.
Zion laughed. Her laugh was always so beautiful, like a song. Oh, this is Yellowstone dreaming. It would always draw the birds to her. They would perch themselves on her shoulders, her wings, her antlers, back when she had them.
Very well. Come sit down, little one. You can't listen to a story from all the way over there, now can you?
I crawled out from whatever plant it was I was hiding behind. Oh, okay, they are going to show it off. Sitting on a long, toppled-over tree, Zion patted her lap. Her gown fluttered all the way down her long body and drifted with the wind. Maybe it is. I looked up to smile at her.
Like, that's why the text is blue.
That makes sense. I looked up to smile at her. I remember that much. And what? I looked up to smile at her, and there was no face. No, there very clearly is a face. Like, it's blurred, but I can very clearly see it. That can't be right. But no matter how I try to remember, her face is a blur. Her voice was beautiful. Her build was tall. So what did she look like?
Coming!
I skipped over to where she was sitting. I can't imagine Yosemite ever skipping. The more I think about it, the blurrier it gets. Details begin to blend. The patches of dirt and grass I was roaming across mixed together. They're a spiraling green and brown vortex now. What? Was it even a log she sat on? Could it have been a rock? By the time I'm sitting on her lap, it doesn't matter. By the time I was sitting on her lap, she was my anchor.
Straighten your posture.
She looks so angry in this shot.
Zion, must I really?
Only if you
I can't
respect
tell.
yourself.
Like, she's smiling, but it looks so fucking weird. It makes my eyes hurt.
Whining, yeah, and that's the point. Whining, oh god, it's getting worse. Whining, I pull back my slumped shoulders and then roll my eyes at her. Except now I don't have a face either.
Now?
Zion nodded, but now it looks like watercolors sweating down a canvas.
Once upon a time, in a field. In the past, he had been
That was
including
just
his
radio.
clothes. While wandering the endless
Including his clothes.
More vanishing words. Why aren't they coming to me? Where'd they go? Everything is congealing together. Everything about this, I can only remember it as if I saw it through tears. The world I knew was a kaleidoscope, a mesh of people, colors of sounds. Not this one, please, any memory but this. It's too precious. Let me hear it again. Let me hear the story. Let me hear your voice, please.
Yosemite.
Yosemite. Yosemite.
Meow.
Oh, we are playing as Yosemite now. Okay, this is good to know. There's a tug at my sleeve. I feel the breath leave my body as I gasp, pulling me back to consciousness. I jolly up.
What?
I don't know if this is an improper word, or if they're giving her a slang that I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Zion
either.
flinches. Clenching my chest, I look down at her. Her wings are tucked in and wrapped around her like a blanket. The mangy puppy is at her side, standing guard in case I make any sudden movements.
Creature!
Sleep, boy.
Her voice is gentle, but firm. Seeing such authority protrude from this new,
She
small
has
body of
authority?
hers is comical. But just like animals always do with her, the puppy listens, and after a cursory glance, it trots over to its overfluffed bed and lays down. Is this before they met? No, the ranger's there. Okay, never mind. Light has just barely begun to creep through the window. The entire cabin is tinted in an untouched blue. Are we finally going to get an answer to what the fuck's going on? Probably not. Scattered across the room, I can hear Yellowstone and the ranger snoring. The ranger is louder. You won't even call her Eve. I attempt to ask her what she's doing up so early, but a yawn breaks through instead.
I don't think it's early.
Only an impression of a sentence comes out.
I'm always awake this early. It's peaceful.
So you like it when no one's talking, I gotcha.
Yep. Her wings spread out, their feathers puffing up. She plants her hands on her waist and gives me a scolding glance.
I think the real question is, why are you sleeping at the table? It's so hard and uncomfy. No wonder you mutter in your sleep.
I wasn't sleeping. It was just a quick cat nap.
Uh-huh, sure.
The glare on her only gets more stern as she flaps her wings and hovers off the ground. Soft bursts of wind kissed my face, my only warning.
I thought it
You
said
were
she
buried
kissed
in
my
your
face.
research again.
These stacks of books and paper on the table always make it nothing but obvious.
Weren't you?
Even now, after all this time and all these changes, she's still like this. At least I can latch onto it and take some small comfort.
Can't get anything past you.
I give a fake sigh and let it dissolve into a smile.
I was.
There's nothing else, much else I can say that wouldn't extend the theatrics. Zion exhales deeply, landing back on the ground. Instead of stern, she only looks worried
I
now.
know it means a lot to you. And I don't want you to stop or anything, but...
Take
you
care
always
of
get
yourself,
so
woman.
cranky when you put too much of yourself into it. It's sad to watch when it happens. At least get some good sleep so you're well rested. Please?
She stares up at me, hands folded and pleading. There's warmth in her eyes, as there always has been. Yet they aren't the same eyes I grew to cherish. They're different now. And they've been different for a long time.
Come here, little one.
I beckon her forward with my finger. She doesn't hesitate to come in for an embrace.
No, hugs are nice.
Nuzzling her close, she squeezes me tight.
You know I get anxious real easy.
I know. Sorry for making you
What,
worry.
do they de-age after a long time?
The thing is that she used to be young. So it's clearly not they get younger. I think it's just supposed to be a cycle of life. Of they get older and then they return to their youth and then the cycle renews.
So
So-
they de-age.
Sort of. I pat her, bringing her with me as I do my best to rock and forth in this chair. You forgot the word back there. I'm guessing, if I had to guess, that's why Yosemite spends so much time in her research, is she is desperately trying to not forget. So she keeps rereading all the books over and over again so she can force herself to never forget them.
Maybe forgetting is what makes you de-age.
Don't know. Yes, I can take comfort in the small reminders of the past, but it will never be the same as it was. Existing like this, hugging her like this. Perhaps it's important to love it, despite everything, but it rings so hollow. I wish it wouldn't.
Say, Zion?
You know?
Her voice is muffled. She looks up, only hair and a pair of eyes, the rest of her still buried in my clothes.
Do you remember that story we like? The one you used to always tell me?
She tilts her head.
No. You and Yellowstone are the ones who tell stories. That's how it's always been.
Not always.
Oh,
Maybe I've told it to you before then. It's about an animal, right? Some kind of bird?
Clutching her head, she tries to squeeze the information out of herself, but it just ends up looking painful.
I think you mentioned something about it recently, but I don't remember. I'm sorry.
It's not surprising, but it doesn't keep it from being any less disappointing.
No need to apologize.
I bring her back and close. If she saw the look on my face, it would only worry her more.
Occasionally, things just slip our minds. It's just something that happens over time.
Very sad.
oh my.
Just... This is so depressingly sad. Because it's just a story where it's like, and then everyone forgets you, and it's
For
sad.
the love of God, Yellowstone! If you're gonna bellyache about needing help with the cleaning, then the least you can do is sweep up the soot from your head, Kano!
Okay, now this
Now
time we're back
to Eve.
to eat. I drag my finger along the floorboard. A chalky gray powder sticks to it. It's like somebody sprinkled ashes from the fireplace.
You're yelling at air. She and Zion went out to find trouble hours ago.
Yosemite is sitting over at the table in her usual spot, because there is literally nothing better for her to do. But instead of flipping through a book or scribbling down notes in handwriting I cannot read for the life of me, she's just sitting there, her hands clasped together, resting beneath her nose.
I'm yelling at her in the general sense. It's a hypothetical yell.
But you're literally doing it.
It's not hypothetical if you say it out loud.
Thank you.
And it's not a Saturday morning if you aren't being a pain in the ass.
That's pretty good. Must admit, that's pretty good.
Oh, shots fired.
You love it.
I tolerate it.
You're blushing.
Coffee?
Please.
Coffee?
So cute.
Coffee.
By the time I'm over at the table, she already has a steaming hot cup of coffee for me, straight from the percolator.
I need this.
I flop down in the chair. When I stare down into the cup, it's thick and black and swirling with just a little bit of sugar.
Looks like Yosemite. Shit.
Huh, she remembered. Here's to you, you overgrown tree.
Exasperating morning.
Every day of my life is exasperating.
That's exasperating.
But this...
Basically the best way to describe it is the sound of like, ah.
Oh. So it's just terrible.
Not quite, but yeah. But this, I take a quick gulp from my mug. If I don't breathe it, it doesn't burn as bad.
This has the added bonus of being my day off.
Isn't that normally a good thing?
You would think so, right? But this also happens to be the day my boss is visiting.
Which means you all have to leave.
The chatty woman who seems far more respectable than you? I assumed you two got along.
It's hard to get angry at that remark, even if it's chocked full of sass. Jessie is absolutely more respectable than me.
Oh yeah, she's a hoot. But her mercy isn't eternal. Which means no messes, no coyotes, and... I can't believe life has led me to a point where I actually have to say this out loud. No park girls.
Yosemite raises an eyebrow, but I don't detect any of her usual smarm behind
Is
it.
that really what you call us?
Yes, you're national park girls.
What,
Why
you want to
not?
be a ghost forever?
Her eyes slink down, scanning the permanent mess of research cluttering the table. A joyless smirk sprouts from her lips.
No, I suppose not.
Thank you, we've come to an
Anyway,
understanding.
I was hoping to get Yellowstone's help with tidying up this sty, but seeing as she's not here...
I chug what's left of my coffee and slam it down with a satisfying clank.
I break
I'll
the
be
mug.
helping instead.
You just decided that, huh?
Yes.
Sure did. Not like you're actually doing anything productive.
And she isn't, unless you count staring at a wall productive. And watching paint dry, last I checked, was not productive. She's just been daydreaming all morning. I expected a little pushback, but aside from a dirty look, which, let's be real, is her regular face, she starts organizing her research into nice, orderly stacks.
I'll help you out, but only so Yellowstone doesn't have more work to do. Try to tell me how to clean, and I'll use your hat as a rag.
She sounds utterly defeated while saying it. Did I stumble my way into taming her? Life really is full of happy little accidents. Guys, you have to put the little in there.
That's what I like to hear. See how peaceful things can be when you just bend.
You are going to get punched or kissed. I say it jokingly, but you know what? It's true. My life would be so much easier if everyone just listened to me.
What did I say?
Mm-hmm.
With her books and papers now compartmentalized, she places them inside the cardboard box and takes up half the table. Or that takes up half the table, then lugs it over to the bookshelf. That's it? Just, No snide comments about squashing my growing ego. No sweeping declarations of hypocrisy. Must be an off day.
You feeling okay today? If you're running a fever, you should tell me now so I can report any fires before they get out of hand.
She walks past me and takes to the sink. Not even bother to turn on the faucet. She wrings out the water from her hair and lets it run over the dirty plates in the sink. Slightly revolting? I guess, but I'm way beyond the point of thinking too hard about this kind of stuff.
I feel fine.
If you say so.
Turning away from me, she goes back to the dishes, brushing me off with a wave of her hand.
I have my doubts, but assuming you know how to use a broom, get the area by the couch. That part of the floor is where Yellowstone sleeps.
Now that she mentions it, I don't think I've ever seen Yellowstone sleep on the couch. Yosemite guards with the ferocity of a Rottweiler, leaving poor Yellowstone to wiggle on the floor like a slug in her sleeping bag. Why do you think she was sleeping with you? It almost makes me feel bad for all the times I've kicked her out of bed. Almost. Head for the closet and fish out the broom, dragging the brush along the floorboards as I head for the couch. It's really the most efficient way to clean the maximum amount of space.
In fact, it is clean.
Oh, hello, Pup. It doesn't take long for Pup to take notice of it. He crouches onto his front paws, tail wagging in the air as the broom skids round like prey.
Don't you even.
No, my broom.
That was my first mistake, because when I yank the broom back, he pounces. He lands on the head of the broom. I feel the weight immediately, unable to even tug on it without pulling him along too.
No.
As if challenging me, he bites into the brush.
You little gremlin!
I try to pull it away from him, but he just takes that as his cue to pull it towards himself.
Let's go.
I pull. He pulls. Amazing. He baited me into playing tug-of-war. It was his plan all along. As much as I would love to spend more time with the goodest boy in the whole world, I decide to end it then and there. I drop the broom and walk over, picking up by the scruff of the neck.
God, you're getting so heavy.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
Yellowstone makes him fat. It's like he knows to, because he just pants happily while he dangles there. He really has grown since I was first stationed here. Before I could easily pick him up with one hand. Now it's a bit of a workout.
Bad.
He licks his chops.
But also, so good.
Girl,
Stop! You are encouraging
Yeah,
it.
you are bad at discipline. I'm too much of a sucker to do actual scolding, but at the
Yeah,
same
you're
time, he's too much of a liability right now. Jessie would have my head, and probably do the decapitation herself if she saw him. I carry him to the door and toss him under the porch, slamming the door shut before he can charge back. I'll have to stay outside till the visit's over.
Oh, poor puppy.
There's the waterworks, the saddest to woo in the world. Not long after, he starts scratching at the door.
Is leaving him out there a good idea? What if he goes to the campground?
Great. He'll love the attention. You should have seen him when he was down there last week. All the kids were begging their parents to take him home.
Holy
It's a bad
shit.
thing.
Yeah, well, so is having him in the cabin.
It's a thing. Humans are hardwired to love the cute little fuzzy wuzzies.
Pup scratching at the door stops.
That's fair.
Yosemite freezes, dropping a plate in the sink. It doesn't shatter, but I wish it did, because at least that would end the silence. Her head turns. The only word I can use to describe the look on her face would be concerned. I cough, because any noise will ease my discomfort at this point. Well, guys, before they go searching for Pup and forget about Jessie entirely and she gets yelled at again, we're gonna come back next time and continue on in the story then. Until then, the future is very uncertain. But what is certain is you guys are awesome, and there'll be more Two Bros Game Night tomorrow. See you then!
Goodbye.